Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. I am your host, and today we are in Johnson City to take a look at some of the LBJ National Historic Park sections. It's an interesting drive here, so to have a little nice museum that you can take a look at with some of the old antiques. When you get there, check in, a bit about his life, a little bit about some of his major laws that he helped pass, and some memorabilia that you can check out. It's interesting if you've never really learned anything about LBJ and some of his work. We have one of his desks that you can check out, as well as his suit, so you can see just how tall he was. Now on the property, it's like a whole complex there that you can walk around. They have his boyhood home, which is where he grew up. It's a nice little one-story house with a pretty porch that I like to look at. They make it seem like he was born in poverty, but look at this house and it's a pretty nice house. So I think he was well off. The house is well maintained. They offer tours, but because of COVID, I think they're not really offering much right now. But it's still nice to go look at and see some of the old furnishings. Check out the house where he grew up in. Now they also have the Johnson settlement where his ancestors first settled here in Texas. You see a corral with some wildflowers, and my favorite things here, which are the Longhorns, which don't climb the fence because they will attack you. But there they are, just munching away in the shade, escaping the Texas heat. Look at those horns. Look at those horns. But you can roam around the rest of the property, see some of the old houses, some of the old buildings that are still standing. I myself love that fence, just made out of wood. Then they have another little pavilion with more information on the cattling industry and some of the stuff that was important back then when they first started settling Texas. You can see some of the old log cabins with its traditional dog trot area. I've always liked that little hole in the log cabins, and this cool oak tree. You can't really go into any of the buildings, but it's still kind of nice to walk around and see what life was like back then. There are my Longhorns again, just resting in the shade. Then if you head over to the state historic site, you can visit Bachmann Farm, which is a living history museum. It shows what farms were like back then in the late 1800s, early 1900s, before Texas started becoming more urbanized. A lot of the stuff is authentic. They got some costume players pretending to be farmers and merchants and all that kind of stuff. I didn't take a picture of them because I don't know, I feel weird taking pictures of people who are working. But they've got some pretty cool little saddle shops and blacksmith shops, and you can go inside and look at kitchens and see what life was like back then. That's the main barn, and those are the main houses. And some sheep or rams. What is that? Is that a ram? Yeah. Look at those horns. Look at those horns. I'm obsessed with those horns. I want some. That way, whenever I argue with somebody, I just butt them. And then we have some of the buildings you can walk inside of. This is sort of like the kitchen lardery or whatever you want to call it, where they kept all their preserves and foods. Of course, there's a bedroom and living room. Look at that wallpaper. Awesome wallpaper. And the kitchen, where I guess a lot of the magic happened. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you've been enjoying some of these travels, and don't forget to visit the LBJ Historic Center. Thanks.